That is so funny. Like, I literally got this question today. They're like, when is round 16? I'm like, what the hell is round 16? Because I honestly don't even keep track of these 1,000-year blood war banners. It's like, oh, my bad. It's the Ichigo, Uryu, and Chad banner. When do you think that's coming back? Do you think it's coming back next month? And I'm like, honestly, I could see this coming back as early as next week. Literally a day, not even like 6 hours later. And yeah, no, I got announced. Available 1/19 is literally coming out in about 24 hours. Now, should you summon on this banner? Honestly, I still think Ichigo is arguably the best character in the game. There are a lot of people that are gonna, argue it's like, oh, it could be Ulquiorra, it could be Toshiro, this, yada yada yada. The reality is all three of these characters are actually fucking cracked. Like, as simple as that. The thing is, I do think that Ichigo does have a lot of versatility and a lot of future proofing just because he has plus 100% damage, and then he also has frenzy plus 2. On top of that, unlike characters like Toshiro, which I'm not saying Toshiro is a bad character, but Toshiro is very dependent on spiritual pressure boost plus 80%, whereas Ichigo just is dependent that the enemy doesn't get a status ailment, and if he doesn't get a status ailment, then this character has literally frenzy plus 4 damage consistently throughout the entirety of a run. Now, Toshiro has the gauge mechanic to fall back on, the SP boost to fall back on, so I'm not saying that Toshiro is a bad character by any means. I'm just saying, in terms of like consistency and stuff like that, that could sway your interest towards that. That also being said, Toshiro is a different attribute, different killer. Literally, they are not I wouldn't even consider them really interchangeable to a degree, just because they're not the same color, not the same killer, not really the same utility. But and that's the big thing here, right? It's like, arguably you want both. That's the reality of it. After that, you also have Uryu, who is one of the is literally the green farmer of choice. He has potions, super potions, and on top of that, he has the droplet drop bonus. And Chad also has frenzy level damage, because he also, like Ichigo, has that plus 100% damage, right? So if we go into the actual character pool, you'll see here that this character pool is not very good. We have Izuru, we have Chojuro, we have Yamamoto. These characters have not aged very well. Chojiro's still pretty good, but in terms of damage, like, I think Ichigo literally deals 3 times as much damage as Chojuro, and they have almost the same exact kit. Bruh, like, that's actually kind of cracked to think about. Mayuri, Nemu, and Toshiro, these characters have also not aged very well just because of the power creep of the meta, right? So you have Uryu and Ichigo, who are, in my opinion, maybe not must-haves, but like, if you're trying to fill out a collection and you want like the best characters, honestly, these 2 characters are going to be it. And then Chad is also a really, really, really good character. Would I summon on this banner, or would I recommend summoning on this banner? Honestly, if you have 6 steps worth of orbs that you don't really like mind like summoning with, like, you can do that. One thing to note is this banner actually will last 11 days, and actually 12 days, and 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. Ends on the 31st though. So 12 days. So you have 12 days to summon on these characters, to summon on the banners with these characters. And I really want to stress the fact that this banner leaves on the 31st. This banner essentially leaves as end of the month banner comes out, which means that if you wait until the 28th, you will actually get to see the end of the month banner, what they do, their animations, their skills, and like all their utility. My recommendation, honestly, should you summon on this banner? Honestly, yes. However, I would wait until the 28th or the 29th so you can make a reasonable decision on whether or not you want to spend your orbs here, or if you want to spend your orbs in end of the month. End of the month could be 1,000-year blood war. End of the month, I doubt it's 1,000-year blood war, but it could be 1,000-year blood war, or it could just straight up be another Cacao Society / Machine Society banner. Very, very possible there. But if those characters end up being like more useful, like say you have this Uryu 2 out of 5, you don't really need the Ichigo. Ichigo's great, but like the reality is you might not need it, right? And especially with the rates being as bad as they are, keep in mind these characters are probably never going to get another individual banner ever again. So if you haven't summoned any of these characters, especially if you're new, I would definitely recommend summoning on this banner. If you're relatively, like, if you're a veteran or you don't really have a lot of orb sources, like maybe you can eke out like 2,200 orbs by end of the month, you might want to toss in 6 steps here and 6 steps at the end of the month. Like, it's really hit or miss on whether or not you should go for these characters. Would I recommend, if I didn't have any of these characters, I would recommend summoning for them. I personally have both of these characters max transcended. Chad, I don't really use him very often, but I do like the fact that I do have him, right? If I didn't have him, I probably would summon the first 2 steps. I wouldn't commit to 5 steps. But if I was missing Uryu and Chad, or if I was missing Ichigo and Uryu, I would definitely toss in 5 to 10 steps. Only because these characters are incredibly strong, and in my opinion, they are completely future-proof. Ichigo, in Arena in particular, has, he has Frenzy plus 3. And then on top of, so he has Frenzy plus 2, normally. Then he has Frenzy plus 3, which means he deals 4x damage. And then he has plus 100% damage, which means he has Frenzy plus 7 in Arena? Like, Frenzy plus fucking 7? Are you out of your fucking mind? Come on. Should you summon on this banner? It's Ichigo. Yeah, I would recommend summoning for just Ichigo alone. I am biased. Plus 100% damage means that his Soul Bomb hits bombardment levels of damage. Like people tend to forget that too, where it's just like, at the end of the day, this character has bombardment level damage. Let me pull up Ichigo. Pull up here. Ichigo. Uryu. I'm not gonna go too deep into the Chad. He's a PvP character, but he also has that plus 100 if the enemies are not inflicted by the status element. This character has strong attack recharge minus 14%. A Rancor and no affiliation killer. Like I said, he doesn't really cross with Ulquiorra, and he doesn't really cross with the Toshiro either. He has a 3000 length beam, it's the big one. Shared complete status immunity, immune to all status elements. He has hit an enemy and pierce iron skin, so he doesn't need to deal status elements in content like IT. He's an easy carry. Frenzy plus 2, Sprinter plus 2, and I believe he has long stride built into his kit. Read all affiliation dodge, which is really good. A team party recover 20% stamina. Star power up item plus 2 in Frenzy and Poise in Arena. Like, this character is wild. Even if you don't unlock the Frenzy plus 7 damage in Arena, like, just getting the star power up item, Poise, and then you have the Frenzy plus 5 in Arena. Like, I tend to forget, because it's like 100 times 3 for the Frenzy times 2, right? Yeah, so he has Frenzy plus 5 damage in Arena. Stupid, bro. This is fucking so stupid. And that's like before you get to level 10. Because if you get to level 10 and you have, what, Frenzy plus 3, that means that you're getting times 4 damage, because you get 4 hits times 2. Yeah, so you get Frenzy plus 7 in Arena if you get him at level 10. What the fuck?